Good morning, friends. Pastor Rick here. Thank you for joining me on Truth Pastor TV. Today's video is a variety of subjects. How many of you are so tired of all the deceit, lies, hatred, and corruption that's going on in the world? I'd like to know how organizations like the CIA, who is supposed to be an intelligence gathering community, can get away with the things that they've done all over the world. Assassinations of presidents, assassinations of musicians like Bob Marley. The CIA killed Bob Marley. John F. Kennedy killed their own president. 9/11, the CIA was behind 9/11, not Al-Qaeda. And yet they're still in operation. You know that the CIA and other organizations, government organizations, have been experimenting on the common people going way back. In the 50s and the early 60s, in Montreal at the Allen Hospital, the CIA conducted MK Ultra mind experiments using LSD, acid, and electroshock therapy and other things to wipe people's brains clean. People have gone in that when they first went in were a little bit depressed and stuff, but could play guitar and sing and everything else, and when they come out of there they can't play a note. They wipe their minds clean. And they've got the tools now, 50, 60, 70 years of advancements have been made in the technology that these people have access to. Direct energy weapons, weather modification weapons, cloud seeding, nano dust, nanotechnology, nanomites. It's destroying the world. And what do they want us to focus on? Hatred. They want us to hate other groups of people. Back in the day, it was the black people, the Hispanic people. Oh, they're all crooks and they're all this and they're all that. And then as time goes on, it's Muslims and gays and lesbians and transgender and so on and so forth. Do you know that without governments we would have no problems with any of these other countries? We wouldn't. It's the US government sticking their nose where it doesn't fucking belong. Now, I don't know if the Canadian government knew that the CIA was doing this testing on Canadian citizens. But it didn't happen just in Montreal. In Winnipeg, back in the, I believe, 70s, they flew some kind of a virus, a watered down version of a virus that they were testing over the city of Winnipeg and let it loose. And when people went to the hospital for these flu-like symptoms, that gave them an estimate of what this stuff will do, what kind of population they would be able to affect with this stuff. Who gave them permission to do that? Was the Canadian government involved, saying, "Oh yeah, go ahead, test on our citizens"? It's ridiculous. You know, every day as the world goes forward and we make more advances in every way, we're getting further behind. God has been taken out of schools, yet a lot of places will allow the Quran um, to be used, prayed in schools. We've got transgendered people going into libraries and schools reading stories to our kids, telling them it's okay to be a girl or a boy or whatever they want. Prime Minister Trudeau and his people kind. Listen, there are men, there are women. That's it. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not hating on gays or lesbians or transgender people. If you feel that you were born the wrong sex, then that's a psychological thing. But do we really need for you to get all dolled up in makeup and stuff and go in and tell 5, 6, 7-year-old children that they can be whatever they want to be? If they want to go home and dress up in mommy's clothes, they can. I mean, what is going on in the world right now? Everybody's lying to everybody, and there's no accountability from anybody. Not from the government, who will boldly lie to our faces and then change their mind 2 months later. I'm anti-abortion. Oh, I'm pro-abortion now. I mean, where is it headed? This has just got to stop. So what do we do about it? Do we march on our governments, cast them out? Well, that's one way, I guess. When you go to the ballots, vote none of the above. From my understanding, if you vote none of the above, then they will take people that have qualifications to be able to do that job and put them in there temporarily to make sure that things keep running, that the elderly people and the disabled people, schools and so on can continue to run. And then hold elections. But we got to start having these people be accountable. If somebody lies to get into the position of prime minister or president of their country, and they go back on that, or it's found out that they lied, they should automatically be removed from office. Organizations like the CIA, the DOJ, the many different intelligence organizations or justice organizations that the U.S. has. I think Trump needs to send the army in and shut down the CIA completely. Shut them down. They cannot be allowed to do what they're doing and to continue doing it. Most of the wars that are being fought, the CIA is in there on both sides. They're supplying weapons to the enemies to fight Americans. They're smuggling dope into the country. It was the CIA that first brought cocaine and LSD into the U.S., and it spread from there throughout the world to fund their wars, to get rich, to have money for these black budget projects, on top of the trillions and trillions of dollars that are already being smuggled and rifled through to their organization. It's bullshit, and it's got to stop. Now, I'm not a suicidal person, so if I end up dead by suicide or accident, don't believe it. This nonsense has got to come to an end. Why can't we just be people? Why does it have to be whites against blacks, against Latinos, against Muslims? Just because our skin color is different doesn't mean we don't have the same goals or the same rights. We all have the right to live our life free, free of deceit, free of lies, free of control, free of manipulation, free of false flag events to make things happen. Let me make this clear. War is big business. So they're always got to have somebody to fight. The next fight, I think, is going to be a false flag event, and it's going to be an alien invasion. But it's not aliens. It's the government, the shadow government, has already got the technology and reverse engineered flying saucers and made new ones. They've got entities that look like alien grays, but they're mechanical, they're artificial intelligence. They're not aliens. Most of the aliens on this planet are benevolent, which means they're peaceful. They're here trying to stop us from killing ourselves and this planet. What's so hard to understand about that? But that's not good enough for the government. The government says, "Oh no, oh, hey, if this happens, man, we're gonna have to go to war with them." So this Space Force that Donald's building, it's all just a part of keep your eyes over here. Don't see what we're doing over here. People are people. We just want to have a roof over our head, 3 square meals a day, a family, or a relationship. We want to be loved. We want to be accepted. But why does that have to come at the expense of manipulation and bullshit? Why do we have to hate each other? Hatred is so wrong. It's so wrong to hate. Usually what we hate about other people is something we hate about ourselves. I know, I grew up very prejudiced against African American people. And it wasn't until I was in my 30s that I figured out it wasn't my prejudice, it was my parents' prejudice that I was carrying around. Black people never did anything to me. As a matter of fact, I've got some good black African American friends. But this stuff gets passed on to us. I won't repeat what my mom used to say all the time. But it was vile and disgusting. And I'm sure she's paying for it now. I really do. Because I think she took hatred to her grave. And I don't know where she is now. I know there's no hell. Hell was something made up by the church to scare and control. God loves us. We are an eternal life force. Yes, our body wears out. But there's a soul inside of us and a force that will continue on forever and ever. Now, whether it comes back in reincarnation or we go into a different dimension, I'm not quite sure. I'll find out one day when I get there. But I know that there is no pit with Satan down there waiting to barbecue us and skin us and torture us for the rest of eternity. I'm so disheartened. I'm a pastor. I'm not with any kind of organized religion. I'm a naturalist. I believe in all things natural. But I believe that the Roman Catholic Church worships Satan, worships Baphomet. There's a lot of news on YouTube going around that the Pope was almost arrested. The security guard ended up beating up the people that were doing the arresting, and the Pope got away. For child trafficking charges, child molestation, child sacrifice, held in the Vatican, and some castle that they go to all the time. When I hear that, people that are supposed to be speaking for God, it saddens me to my core. Saddens me so badly. Because they're supposed to be doing good. And with as rich as they are, there is no reason in the entire world that there should be people that are hungry or homeless. Now, we set up the government during the war. It was supposed to be a temporary thing to help. And little by little, we let them go and we gave them more control, and then they started making these laws and passing more laws. And now everything that you do has like 40 different charges. And they'll drop 25 of them if you plead guilty to the 5. It's all got to stop. Especially laws against plants. What God gave us freely and naturally, things that have been used as medicine for thousands and thousands of years. Cannabis, magic mushrooms, peyote, ayahuasca, wild lettuce, which has the same pain-killing effects as morphine, but it's non-addictive. why do we need the FDA pushing these killers on the population? You know, they say cannabis has no medical use, yet the government owns the patent on CBD oil. Big pharmacy can take the psychoactive stuff out of cannabis, turn it into a pill form, and charge $32,500 a year for it, and all of a sudden it's medicine. But cannabis itself is not. Because those big pharmacies are giving kickbacks to the government. The government's getting rich. The big pharmacological companies are getting filthy rich. And people like you and I are dying. We're dying, folks, from poison that the FDA says is safe for you. Just like they said tobacco doesn't cause cancer. Now we know one of the major cancer-causing agents out there. It's just gotten so out of control, folks. I want to thank you so much for joining me here, and I'd like you to please share this video with other people. Like, subscribe, hit on the notification bell to get updates as I put them out. Please don't think that this message is sending hate to anybody. I don't hate gays. I don't hate transgendered people. I don't hate people of different colors or religious beliefs, anything like that. I don't. But people want us to. People want us to have that hate towards other people for whatever reason. And it's sad. Let love be your guide. Whatever you put out into the world, the positivity, love, you put that out, you're going to get that back. You put out hatred and negativity, you're going to get that back. Please stay natural, my friends. Give somebody you love a hug. Share my video. Peace, my friends. God bless.